Mrs. Costin, you were Secretary of Education in Brazil between 2009 and 2014. How did you get to work for the Brazilian government?
So I worked for the Brazilian government. Before being Secretary of Education, I was Federal Minister for Public Policies at the term of Cardoso, Fernando Henrique Cardoso. After working for a while in the World Bank and working in education, I began my career as a teacher. The mayor of Rio invited me to become Secretary of Education in this that was the biggest school system, municipal school system in the country. It's a huge system with 1,100 schools and almost 1 million students, and it was quite a challenge. I come from a technical background, not a political background, and I'm very devoted and committed to education.
So in Brazil, it's not necessary to be a member of the political party to be a member of the government?
No, it's not mandatory. It's rare. Normally, a minister would be affiliated to a political party. It was not my case. But that gave me some opportunities to work independently of the political party, of the president, or the government, or the mayor, because I worked at the 3 levels as head of education or public policies.
You are born in Brazil and your father is Romanian. Did
Yes.
you learn Romanian language at home?
Unfortunately not, because my mother was Hungarian and my father Romanian. They spoke between themselves French. That when they met each other, my father didn't know Portuguese. My mother was already fluent in Portuguese, and so their communication language was French. And that's how I learned French as first language, and then at kindergarten I learned Portuguese. But I read Romanian with a dictionary by my side because it's a Latin language, but understand it was only when my father was speaking to my grandmother.
As a student, you founded the Communist Party in Brazil, is right?
No, I didn't found the Communist Party. I belonged to one of the left-wing parties. I was in jail twice because of that. Then I decided, after seeing that Stalinism is what was even in the so-called Trotskyist parties, I decided that never again. And so I'm a Democrat, a real and converted Democrat.
So you saw the other face?
I saw the other face, and I don't recommend. But I don't recommend dictatorships. Dictatorships are very good in turning young people into communists. So the alternative, that's why I'm such a strong believer in democracy.
You have taught at Pontifical Catholic University of São Paulo?
Yes, yes.
To the INSPER institution and École Nationale d'Administration Publique en Québec.
Yes.
And the Harvard Graduate School of Education. You are a minister, you worked at the World Bank. Where did you get so much energy?
Well, I think I was born like that. Perhaps it's my Romanian blood. I'm very passionate about education and about making development, inclusive development, viable. Probably that's why in my youth I was so committed to saving the world or having things changed. Then I discovered that the best way to do it is through education. If you really are committed to quality education for all and not just for the few that have opportunities to go to private schools or sophisticated schools, then you can change the world in a sustainable way, let's say. But yes, I have a supportive husband, which helps a lot. And I'm very committed to what I do. Americans will call that being a nerd. I'm a nerd.
You have known the South American education system, the European system and the American system. Which system prepares the students better for them and for the society?
Well, we have to be aware that we are living times of the so-called fourth industrial revolution, where artificial intelligence and accelerated automation will substitute humans in labor that demands even intellectual cognitive abilities. So it's not sufficient to develop in children and adolescents just basic skills. You need more sophisticated skills, especially teaching young people to think creatively, to think critically, abstractly, because as far as we are living, at the time we are living, robots are not able to be creative. They are not able to think critically. They will end up becoming sophisticated thinkers, but not yet. So if we really want to have a good education system, we have to abandon rote learning, memorizing things by heart, and teaching the kids how to think. This means investing in the teachers, making them able to think creatively, and preparing in their pre-service education them to be able to give more engaging classes where students are prepared to be autonomous learners and even be able to reinvent themselves when in successive waves jobs will be extinct and they will eventually have to change either careers or jobs or building startups. That's the job of education. America is not yet there. Some countries in Europe are working with that, but most of the countries have not, and I can assure you that Latin America is not even providing, my own country, Brazil, the basic skills that most kids will need to prosper in this.
A question about American system now. Why is the American higher education system the best today? Is just a problem of financing, or is more than money?
Well, it's about money also, because it's expensive to have a good higher education system. It's also because they attract talent from all over the world to be professors and to be students. They are very selective in their process, so they attract the best brains of the world. And in addition to that, they select the kids or the youth from the elites from the developing world. If we want to build sustainable development in every country, we need to have a good system of basic education, basic meaning from kindergarten to 12th grade, and also a higher education system that is of good quality, that attracts talent, and that demands some money. And we need to decide if we want to cut expenditures in, let's say, defense, or we prefer to invest money in education and science and technology. That builds human capital.
How does the internet influence the educational system?
Internet influences a lot the educational system because the labor landscape works also with the internet. So you cannot prepare kids for the world they are living, not they will live, they are living without considering the internet as part of what they will need. So it influences in the way that there are several MOOCs, massive online courses available, and they need to know how to deal with them, because distance education is present in many parts of the world, because information is accessible at a click. So we don't need to memorize lots of things that we used to need to memorize. So it's changing the education landscape.
What do you know about the Finnish education system, considered one of the best in Europe now?
The Finnish education system is based on two important things. First, on quality teachers. They are very selective in choosing young people from high school that are going into the teaching profession. It's very hard to have access to those courses, which means that they select the 25% best students from high school to become teachers, and then they have a course that is very professional. It's not theoretical. In many countries, instead of preparing teachers for the profession, as we do, for example, with physicians, with doctors, we give them a very theoretical course and they are not ready for the profession. And even after they have the profession, they receive continuous education that is of very high quality. But having said that first part, second, they give autonomy to those teachers. So it's not only autonomy, and it's not only selectivity and good investment in their pre-service education. It's both things together. And they have a good curriculum, good textbooks, and so they can ensure excellence and equity at the same time. But let's remember that they are a country of 6 million inhabitants. So it is an example to be followed, but with some caveats, because huge countries probably couldn't replicate so easily this example.
Mrs. Costin, thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm delighted to talk to you.